Last week, Trump shrugged off real data, basically signaling, facts are optional. I'm going to make them up myself. This isn't a slip up. This is the authoritarian playbook. Geld the facts, rewrite the rules, and then dare anyone to challenge you. When leaders decide, reality is negotiable, they don't just attack facts, they dismantle the systems that hold them accountable. It isn't new, it's how democracies become autocracies. So let's take a look at what Trump had to say about the job numbers and why he actually fired the person that is supposed to be independent and being able to actually report them so we can actually make decisions based on that information.
Mr. President, why did you fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics?
Because I think her numbers were wrong, just like I thought her numbers were wrong before the election, days before the election.
By the way, guys, days before the election, it was actually out there in August, those numbers were revised down under Biden. Down, not up. So I don't think he's making the case that he thinks he's making.
Trump writing on social media that McIntyre will be replaced, claiming without providing evidence, important numbers like this must be fair and accurate. They can't be manipulated for political purposes. But many
Well, I wonder what other people say about that. If you're firing that person, doesn't it signify that I'm going to go manipulate them, not you?
economists expressed alarm at the firing, worried that President Trump is now trying to manipulate the numbers.
It's not the statistician's fault if the numbers are accurate and that they're not what the president had hoped for.
Finally, a Republican actually just at least standing up a little bit. And by the way, they are made up by 40 different people. They don't even reach the BLS's head desk until hours before they are supposed to be, released. There's no way to manipulate them. And by the way, he didn't fire those 40 people. If that's the rules, why don't you fire the 40 people that are responsible for it? So another thing makes no sense, just authoritarian creep, plain and simple.
Move comes after the jobs report showed that the unemployment rate has risen to 4.2%, with the economy adding 73,000 new jobs in the month of July, less than expected.
That'll probably be revised down based on the last two revisions. Actually, no, never mind. If Trump's making up the numbers, we'll probably have like a million. He'll probably say a million because he already said we're going to reduce prescription prices by 3,000%. So they're going to pay you 30 times what you have to pay for your prescription. So let's all get sick real quick. Sorry to go off on a tangent.
And jobs reports for May and June revised downward, meaning less jobs were added in those months than previously reported.
Let's talk about the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that became law on July 4th. One buried provision, actually there's a bunch of them, would actually require anyone seeking a court injunction against the federal government to post potentially multi-million-dollar bonds before proceeding. So if they poison Mr. Jones's water, he doesn't have millions of dollars to sue the government. So basically, you're just out. So only people who have any recourse is going to end up being billionaires. And by the way, you should have seen what they tried to get through. Let's go over some of that. So these are some of the things that they tried to actually get into the Big Beautiful Bill. Luckily, they were thrown out by the parliamentarian as being illegal. But of course, they tried to sneak some like illegal, totally about protecting themselves type of shit. So first one was like ban certain groups from filing lawsuits entirely. They literally tried to make it so certain groups of Americans, whole categories of people, wouldn't even have the right to take the government to court. Like that's not trimming red tape. That's like setting fire to the courthouse. And they're also wanted to restrict courts from issuing nationwide injunctions. So imagine the government does something like blatantly unconstitutional. Normally, like a court can block it over the whole country. They wanted to make it so the best you could get as well. It's illegal in Ohio, but not in Florida. So go nuts. That's not law. That's just legal whack-a-mole. They were going to cap damages in certain cases to make lawsuits not even worth filing. They wanted to put like a hard ceiling on how much you could win in damages, so low that no lawyer would even take the case. And that's how you kill justice without ever actually banning it outright. They also wanted to require plaintiffs to pay government legal fees if they lose. So if you dared to sue and lost, you'd have to pay the government legal bill. Think about that. You'd be punished just for trying to hold them accountable. It's the legal equivalent of, a mafia protection fee. So some provisions that did make it into the law, these were still bad. So some provisions that did make it into the law, they are limiting nationwide injunctions in certain regulatory cases. They didn't get the full ban they wanted, but they still carved out a backdoor. Like in certain regulatory flights, judges can block the policy nationwide. So yeah, they can still kind of run the same play, but just like on a smaller field. They're also going to shorten those deadlines to file lawsuits against the government. This one's pretty sneaky. They shorten the time you have to sue. They'll miss the window by 2 week, like a week or so. Too bad. They just deny it. They were also going to increase procedural hurdles before a case can proceed. They made it harder to even get into the courtroom, just like they're going to make it harder for people to actually fill out Medicaid and Medicare for support. So more paperwork, more hoops, more delays. Basically, they turn the courthouse into an obstacle course, and the clock is still ticking against you. So, in practical matters, this means only the ultra wealthy can challenge illegal government action. And this isn't theory, it's real. When the rich can pay their way out of oversight and the rest of us can't even get into a court, we're not in a democracy, we're just subjects. And meanwhile, they want you talking about gold ballrooms, $20 million decorations, and flagpoles. And yes, literal flagpoles. That's what he's about to talk about right now. This is how he spends his time. He even went to the actual installation of it and sat there while they put him in. And notice the quick lie that he throws in here, too.
Putting up a beautiful, almost 100-foot tall American flag on this side and another one on the other side, 2 flags, top of the line. And they've needed flagpoles for 200 years. It was something I've often said, they don't have a flagpole per se. So
Yeah, they do. They've had one there forever. It looks like it's right there, like it's always been. So we need to put up 2 huge more flagpoles in front, which isn't that big a problem. But why is he spending his own time on this? Why is he so gung-ho about making a $200 million ballroom, which is gaudy and filled with more and more gold, and doing that to his office? He just wants to treat it like it's his house, not America's house. He also paved over the rose garden that's been there forever to put in this stupid ballroom. I mean, where does it end, Trump? Is the outside going to be paid gold, or is it going to be the gold house instead of the White House? Like, meanwhile, this is what they want you guys talking about. This is what they want us thinking about while they just distract from Epstein, from the economy, from the fact that we're going to wars. Every single thing that he said we weren't going to do, he is doing. So he's taking away our freedoms. He's trying to put a bunch of nonsense in these bills so that way they can lower, Congress's power, lower the judicial's power, so that way he can run like a feudal lord. This isn't conjecture anymore, guys. This is obvious stuff. And if this doesn't freak you out, you already live in their fantasy. If it does, do something. Read the actual laws. Call your representatives. Follow the money and demand the facts. And subscribe, because this isn't left versus right. It's real systems versus fantasy. And I'm going to keep breaking this down.